plug my desk in.
All right, guys. So I'd like to bid you welcome. I like this Steve character
Oh,
icon. That's dumb. It's just caught my eye. All right, so welcome to the Graceful Saloon, guys. I'd like to bid you all a grand welcome. So we're going to start off with an image, and I'm going to push it to you now.
His nickname is now the Neon Bedouin.
That is items, not images.
There's a band name for you, Neon Bedouin. That'll happen within the next year. I'm calling it.
All right, so I want everybody to imagine. So it's a dark room. There's a pillar of light extending from the ceiling to the floor. And underneath the light, there is a rectangular slab of rock. A lot of alchemical components are hanging from the side, reaching up over top, and you can see a body. Now, this body looks to be long dead. You can't tell the race or any of like the facial features. It seems to be a very old and decayed body. All you hear in the background is ting, ting, almost the sound of a hammer hitting an anvil. But you don't see anything other than the pillar of light. All of a sudden, after the third or fourth strike of the anvil, you can see 2 or 3 sparks start to fall from the top. And in the background, a muffled figure says, "Tialin, I don't think that this is going to work. We don't have the proper components." "Silence, fool. This takes precedence. The order demands it so." Ting. Ting, you hear more hammers of the anvil. And as soon as the sparks start to land on the chest of the undead, you can kind of see it start to shimmy and move left to right.
Oh, this isn't going to be good.
As you can see the body moving, you can see the fingers that were once bent backwards start to bend forwards, and a hand becomes a fist, and you can hear the bones cracking. And you can hear the flesh stretching. And then all you hear is, "You madman! We don't have permission for this!" Tink. Tink. As it continues along, you can notice that the hammer's sound is starting to get louder and louder. But then on the course of the left-hand side of this glowing area, you can actually see that it is not actually a hammer and anvil, but it is a man in a masked face holding 2 coins, striking it one off the other. He keeps smashing it over and over and harder as he go, and as more sparks start to fall down, more of the body seems to become animated. It starts to move more profusely and more rigid this time, and you can start to see that the eyes are starting to open with a green and purple hue around the outside of the irises. The final ting happens, and then all you see is the body convulse and then break back to its original position. "I told you this wouldn't work. We didn't have the appropriate materials. We need to be able to study this more." "My friend, we've been studying this for 1,000 years. It's time to take risks. I'm sick of waiting." And then all you hear is several footsteps, and then a door close. I would like to welcome all of you to Tel Marina.
Oh.
So this is a bastion city that all of the races of the world have lived at for thousands of years. There is only one known city in the land, and the rest of it is surrounded by desert on all sides. Basically, there was a wall that was built around it many years ago, but it has since started to decay and turned into a national monument of the city. Around the edges of the city, it basically, I want to say it's like a 15 to 20 foot drop, and then it just goes straight to a cliff face, and then desert on all sides. The only greenery that you guys see is actually inside the city itself. It's built into the walkways, it's built into the infrastructure. And just around on the interior, it's basically like the city is split into 2 with a giant water moat around the main part of the city. It goes into 2 levels. On the far edges of the course is kind of like the business areas and all that kind of stuff. And the buildings are about halfway up. But then once you start passing over the water and coming into the city, you can start to see that the buildings start building up into a higher location with a bunch of like statues, beautiful artwork, and the greenery itself is actually stitched in to the building blocks of these buildings. So we start out in the center of town. There's a large crackling above all of you. All of you have gathered into the main city to hear an honor speech from the Sarl. And this is what you see. As you look up the side of the building, there's a perchway about, I want to say 30 feet up, and you can see kind of a podium. It almost looks like if the Pope was addressing the people, kind of deal.
Mm.
And the noises above your head become louder and louder and louder. As Galvari enters the stage and starts to address the people, you look above him, and this is what you see.
Oh, okie doke.
You look up, and there's this large blimp-like structure. And you guys know it as to be the Clock Tower Zeppelin. You notice that this is a vehicle that is used mainly... Sorry?
Nothing.
Okay.
Terrible joke.
You guys all know through your travels in this town that this is mainly used by the higher-up scholars and the leaders of the free world in this area. There are several other Zeppelins that are smaller in size that tend to navigate over the course of the top of the town. And they're basically like sentries that stay within an axis of a certain section of the villa to protect it from God knows what. As the camera pans down, you can kind of see that there is a clockwork face on the building itself. Behind the clock face, there is a golden and yellow hue. The clock is magical in nature, and this thing has been ticking since the dawn of the city thousands of years ago. So he steps out and he says, "My friends, we are that much closer to be able to solve the mysteries of life. I bid all ye thank you for supporting us in our time of need." And he bows his head and raises his hand to the right-hand side. "Please welcome Anur." And you can just see the cloths behind him open up, and it's a human that's walking out, and you can see he's decked out in the most elegant, Monster Hunter style full plate you've ever seen. It's almost like a World of Warcraft character where it's just out of proportion. It almost looks like a machine suit on him. And he takes a few steps forward and he says, "My loved ones, my family, thank you. I set out on an adventure with my cohort." And he puts his hand down towards the crowd, and off to the left-hand side you see a crowd parting. And you can see the sentinel force that arises. "The Sarl have given me permission to exit these lands and venture forth to see what we can find. I will return in 3 months' time with all the answers that you seek. Thank you!" And as he kisses his hand and raises it forward, you can see fireworks go off of the side of the building and come up and just start exploding one at a time. You can see kind of almost flamethrower-esque canisters on the sides of the Zeppelins, and they start firing off fireworks as well. And then whenever the final one smashes, you can kind of see him retreat back, and he disappears behind the curtain. And the gentleman that was there before bows to the crowd and says, "We will have more information for you as time cometh. Please go out, enjoy the town, enjoy the town, and breed multiply." Who knows? He just kind of says, he flicks his wrist and walks out, kind of unattained. He's done his job.
He wants us to
Get
fuck?
drunk, get drunk, get fucked.
Get drunk, party, it's a celebration.
What happened to this lawful good thing? Marty's
I wanna-
skeptical of this guy.
Fucking is both lawful and good, so I mean, I'm down.
Okay, I guess it's fornication
So,
under the king.
when everybody disappears behind the curtain, the camera pans down to follow the clock tower all the way down, and you can kind of see that there's many components of this that don't seem familiar. It seems like these pieces of this building do not belong together. Once it gets about halfway down, you can also notice that there's a giant pendulum, like you would see in a grandfather clock that ticks back and forth.
Cool.
The circle itself actually has the Roman sign for life. I didn't get a chance to get the actual the picture of it, but I'll send it to you on the next time we play. I completely forgot all about it until right now, actually. And then when it gets all the way to the bottom, you notice that there's an archway that goes up that is, I want to say 20 feet wide by 60 feet tall. And it's a concaved entrance, so there's many doors upon doors that get smaller and smaller until it gets to be roughly the size of a like a keep's gate, like an entranceway gate. And you can see all of the soldiers start to disappear into that hole, and just everybody is clapping and cheering and having a good time. You can also see over to your left that there's a bunch of shop owners that are saying, "Come, come, enjoy our wares." And you can kind of see a couple of innkeepers trying to pass out pamphlets and stuff like this. To the other side, you can kind of see that the exit towards where everyone lives, like the residential area, is starting to fill up with people entering the square and venturing into the main part of town. So, Ortholin, you, my friend, are standing in the middle of town looking around, seeing what all the fun jazz is about. It's a very happy and joyous moment. You can sense the feeling of excitement in the air. You also see a lot of travelers that have come from the lower districts that usually wouldn't be normally up this way. They kind of keep to themselves, and you can kind of see that everybody is starting to exit into the industrial area where all the shops are. And I will switch that to, instead of Ortholand, I will switch that to Geladri. Because I think Kote's working and I forgot.
What?
Oh. I thought you weren't there.
I have been here.
Oh, okay. So you're standing in the middle of a bunch of people going into the industrial district, and you can kind of feel that there's a lot of good things going on in the air.
Hmm.
Did we lose him?
No, I think
Who,
he's still
me?
there.
Yeah.
He's talking to me specifically?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
He's
Okay.
talking to your character.
Do I see the turtle and the Steve and all these people next to me?
Nope, it's just you.
It's just me.
Yep.
Okay. Gee, I really shouldn't have indulged in all of that wonderful Benedictine wine last night and wandered out of the monastery. I feel like shit. I must find my way back and
Okay.
apologize to my brothers for my indiscretions.
Okay, as you look towards where the industrial district is, you can kind of see off to the side there's an offshoot of the city that goes down another level. You know, that is the area that you're looking for. And as you look across the walkway, it's almost in a half moon shape where you're standing, and the stairs go down, and it's also another living district as well as monasteries.
So do I know that my monastery is down there?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna walk down there and start walking toward the monastery with my monk hood up and Trying not to attract attention.
So
It's
as
difficult because my ears poke through the top of the monk hood.
I love it. So as you start to proceed towards it, you can also see that there's also town criers and news of the day. You can hear a crier basically stating that in order, like propaganda, like just basically the rulers will rule, but they will show us the way. We will learn the efficiency of immortality one day. And they start screaming this over and over again, and you can see them starting to hand out pamphlets, and one of the friars shows up and hands one to you.
Friars, like from another monastery or something?
Yeah, so there's different, I should preface this city is basically the last bastion of hope. All the races live in this city. So it's basically, you could have multiple religions, you could have multiple faiths, you can have different factions. Everybody lives pretty cohesively in this one city.
Okay.
Well, they better. It's just like endless desert outside, like you said.
Yeah.
Right. Judge Dredd.
Anyway, Ori keeps his eyes front and center.
Awesome.
No breaking of stride, no distractions. Just heading back to the monastery.
Nice. So the monastery is probably about 5 to 10 minutes travel, and along your way you can kind of also see that there's a lot of inns and small stands along this way, mostly for food and people begging for money. A couple of bards playing sitar music just randomly out in the streets with nobody really paying attention. Like, it's just everybody, it's business as usual down here. And as you proceed, you can kind of notice that there, on the left-hand side, whenever you go around a corner, you can kind of see an alleyway that has an arch with a bunch of stones, and you can kind of see the emblem of your faction above it.
Oh, cool. Okay. Is there anyone standing outside?
No, the doors are ajar. Not
Walk
to
directly in.
Okay, as you enter in, on the left-hand side and on the right-hand side, what would players see if they were able to enter this area?
In the monastery?
Yes. Since you are from there, let me know what you think it looks like.
It would just be a long hall, probably 10 feet wide, maybe 30 feet back, and there would be a bunch of mats on the floor, almost like in a gurdwara or some other Eastern religion building. And then there's stone archways going off on either side into the end. The one that's coming off the end goes into a dining hall. And it's all pillows on the floor, and you see little cups and plates in front of them. On the left-hand side is the barracks. On the right-hand side is kind of just like a training area.
Very good. And who would be the ruling monk in this tower?
There is no ruling.
There is, so it's all just congregate, like everybody works together kind of thing?
Everyone is an equal.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So as you enter, you kind of go to where your personal space is, and on the door you can see that there's a letter hanging there.
How is it hanging? Just normally pinned to the door?
Yeah, just a small little, like, nail, like almost like a pin.
Is there any sign that it could be a howler?
It's a mimic, and it bites your hand off the second you take it. It says, "You must have order."
Weasley! How dare you steal that car? Your father's now facing an inquiry at work. We are absolutely disgusted.
So on the outer edges of the envelope, you can kind of see that it is kind of, you recognize it to be a form of language that resembles if it was from a noble house.
Let's read it.
Say, as you open it up, so what factions did you choose to be dealt with?
What do you mean dealt? Like which faction did I choose?
Yeah.
The body one.
Okay. So I'm just going to pop this out so everybody can see it just to make sure.
Okay.
Okay, and
So
you
which
said it
one are
was
you?
the body one?
Mm-hmm.
The Sollies, then, eh?
Yeah.
Top one.
So you get a message from one of the city's representatives known as Kulan, and she is a half elf, half human. That inside the bottom, you can notice that the letter is actually in two parts. You open up the top, and it says, "Greetings, friend. I require you to join me in regards to a certain quest that I have. I know your faction has done favors in the past, and we require your assistance. Praise Ulan.
Just
And
me as an individual, or my
yeah, you
monk?
as an individual. So,
Okay.
and on the bottom compartment, you can see that the letter opens up further.
Let's keep reading.
Okay, as you look down, you can also notice that there are directions to a status board. And what a status board is if any of the three factions need work, they put their missions on this board and they request you to go see it for there has been an update. Okay, and as you close the letter, you look around and you can see all of the other companions just kind of going about their daily prayers and business as usual. It gives you directions on where to go, and you can proceed there at your leisure or go exploring.
Okay, well, because my monastery has a lot of drunken monks in it, and public intoxication is a little bit frowned upon, because not so frowned upon as it would be in other monasteries, because this is a rather slovenly monastery. I'm just gonna give a nod to my monk brothers, and I'm gonna fucking go to my quarters and take a nice long meditation and rest up after my drunken escapade.
Very good.
And then if you want to just skip that and say it
Yep.
happened, I'll just roleplay the going out. All right, so then I wake up feeling refreshed. The other monks are all doing their own shit. We don't have prayers for another 6 hours, so I'll try and go out to the notice board and make it back by the time prayers start.
Very good. So as you proceed to the notice board, you can see that it's still business as usual, still bright day. Everybody's excited, and you can actually see that everybody's starting to get a little tipsy. But then you pass by the industrial district where this is all happening, and you go up to the notice boards. There is only one envelope, and it's sealed behind glass, and there is a guard standing there. He looks at you. He looks you up and down, and he says, "Ah, this must be for you." And he touches the side of it, and you can see that he has all 5 fingers glowing as the magic seal is lifted off of this one letter, and he hands it to you.
Well, must be pretty secret quest. I wonder why they don't just fucking have a messenger bring it to me. I don't say that out loud. That's just what my character's wondering as he gnashes his bunny teeth. Let's pop open the envelope.
As you pop open the envelope, you can notice that the sides of the paper have the same gold and silver trim as the one that was on your door. It basically indicates to you that they are looking for a mission. The Tarl specifically are gathering a group and wishing to send out a secondary party that is supposed to follow the events of the first one that left at the beginning of the campaign with the gentleman that had the big mech suit armor. And they basically want you to gather a group and head out on an expedition to further the studies of all 3 sects. And as you look down on the page, you can notice that there's already been a group chosen for you. And as you look down, you can see pictures of each of the members. You can see that there is one, a Westra full pike. And you can see the picture of Jack, can you give us a description of your character, please?
Like, she's like a snake person, I guess.
Yeah, so like what color hair, what build, like what is she like an uggo? Is she like kind of hot? Like
Is she an uggo?
She's kind of normal looking, but she doesn't think she looks good because like she thinks she's a human, right? So
okay,
like, the snaky bits are just like, I'm like ugly and stuff.
So she's
But
like
she
an
probably
emo
looks
chick,
alright.
kind of like an emo chick.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
There you go. So you can kind of see like this like disgruntled look on this face, like I'm way too good for what's happening. Like I need to write poetry about this. And off to the left hand,
Yeah, there you go.
And off to the left hand side, you see a picture of a cowboy with his head down, and all you see is a pair of sunglasses that protrude from the bottom. And you notice that down at the bottom, the name is Steve. Doesn't give any kind of description of what these people do or what they're about. But Honky, can you give a description of your character, please?
Okay, so I was a Goliath baby, and I was abandoned by the Goliath people, and found by the Dwarven people, and I was raised by dwarves. So I speak Dwarvish as a Goliath. I'm a ranger. Uh, I follow the Taro religion, and I come from the mountains, which is
And
not where I'm supposed to come from.
and all of this stuff Cote is listed beneath their character profile.
Okay.
So if you were raised by dwarves, Honky, what do you have any emblems that would represent the dwarves, or is it just kind of like you can kind of see it in your clothing kind of deal?
It's more of my demeanor, and
So
you know what I mean?
nobody
Like,
would know looking at you that you have any affiliation to dwarves.
Until they start, yeah, probably not.
Okay, very good. Off to the bottom hand of the page, you can kind of see this, like, there's been 5 or 6 names that look like they have been scribbled out and crossed over in ink. And then you see the name of Jaladri. And you look down towards the picture and you're like, you see the picture of this menacing looking turtle. Brian, would you like to give us a description of your character, please?
Ledbury is the dude. He stands approximately, where are we here? 6'5". He's about 400 years old. He's a snapping turtle, so he's a big, long, sharp beak and a spiky shell. And I carry the shell of my deceased mother as a shield.
Heavy, man.
Are you a turtle with a turtle
Cool.
shield?
I am.
That's the greatest thing.
Badass.
That is the greatest
I
thing.
like it. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
like
Yeah.
a U-bone.
That's
I have, in terms of like clothing, I have like strips of leather and like cloth covering the like traditional areas of a human, but it's really not a problem for me.
Gotcha. All right. So as you start to read down, you can notice that the actual letter itself folds out into another piece.
Well, what a motley crew of misfits this is.
Yeah. So at
Sometimes in my long hours brewing this delicious Benedictine ale and meditating in the monastery, I forget what a motherfucking menagerie this place is. Ortolan thinks to himself, and he keeps reading.
as you you're basically your thumbs move down down the letter, and the letter itself gets longer over the top of your hands as you're going down the list, and then you start to see kind of like a rough outline of the group, and you can kind of see what their strengths and weaknesses are. You have a warlock, and it shows like the pictures of, and you're really familiar with warlocks because they are part of the society here. Like, nothing's secret here that you're aware of. So it's like, you know all about all of this. And then you can kind of look over, and then you can see the druidic heritage of Jaladri at the bottom of the page. Kind of under, you can kind of see that it was written over as if he was almost a sup. Like, a sub person, like they weren't planning on using him originally, but they seemed to scratch out other names and they couldn't really decide. And you see his druidic heritage on the bottom. Whenever you get to the last part of the page, all you see is wildcard, the word wildcard written on the letter in red ink, and a question mark next to it. And you can see another character by the name of Axel at the bottom of the page. Caleb, would you like to give us a description of your character?
Got a very hard features, but it's about 2.5 feet tall. Wings, fairy ancestry, and I guess the only description in it would be that he knows the wilds.
Very good. All right, so as you continue reading, you can kind of see the insignia of the Feywilds underneath his heritage profile. And at the bottom of the page, it also says that you have 12 hours to be ready. Meet at the Zeppelin at the top of the clock tower. and it gives you directions to a inn that you are to go to meet them.
Okay, tell me about the person who's giving me this quest, or do you just want me to blindly accept it without role playing? I can also
No,
do
do whatever
that
you
if
want, man. It's completely up to yourself.
I'm not here to slow the campaign down.
Do
Okay, so tell me about this person then.
So, the person that originally gave you the letter is a member of the Sali, which is the faction that is the same as yours. But she is outsourcing work to the Tarl and trying to get people to venture into the surrounding lands to bring back relics or knowledge of some kind of a thing that can aid them in the process. Now, something that I can announce to the group is the governing body is mixed up of all three factions, and their sole goal is to discover reincarnation. That is their sole goal for thousands of years, is to be able to bring the dead back to life with all their cognitive functions. That is their one goal.
Gotcha. That makes the whole descriptions and the specificity of it seem a lot more.
Yep.
That
No.
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I
Whose
didn't
goal
want
is
I
this?
didn't want to bombard you with it right off the bat. I wanted you to have a little taste and then be like, "Oh."
That's kind of what I
Yes.
figured, though.
That's what happened.
So the Sali are comprised of people that study the body and what happens when it decays. The Seers are all about everything that happens during life. So external stimuli, life experiences, can any of that affect the outcome when you're trying to revive somebody? Like, say, with the use of the spell Revivify. But what they're basically trying to do is be able to find a way to cast Revivify after somebody's been dead for long periods of time.
Let me make my role to the group clear so there's no confusion. We're all level 1 characters, right? So,
Yep.
I basically was not raised in the monastery, but was taken in by it as a child after an unsaid tragedy. And I've just recently come of age and am very young and have been been serving the position of assistant brewmaster up until I came of age, or just became of teenage age, and then just started being like the gopher bitch to the actual monks. Cleaning up the monastery and racking the weapons and shit. And in my spare time, I've been playing around with all of the different weapons in the back room when no one's looking, like so many fucking movie cliches that have happened. Just like the fucking young kid, training away in the background when nobody's looking, and then comes out one day and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I can kill shit." So that's basically Ortolan. So he doesn't have too much of a connection to this whole business that you're talking about, but he's aware of it.
Gotcha.
He's aware that's what he's working for, but he was kind of thrust into it unwillingly, so he's aware of it only on a superficial level, and he sees himself more of a steward of the more important. I have to play this as a level 1, so he's a little confused at why he's being summoned to this weird quest and why he seems to be put in charge of it. And now he's wondering whether his picture is on some fucking notice board somewhere, with someone else wondering whether they should hire me.
Gotcha. I think that is a fair assessment.
So he will continue to wonder this shit, and if you don't want me to search for answers to those questions, because it'll bring the whole thing to a screeching halt, something I highly recommend glossing over, we'll cut to Ortolan going to the blimp.
Okay, but yeah, so if you basically what it's asking you is that the quest line it's up to interpretation, but what it seems like is that they want you to assemble a group and meet at the clock tower.
Yeah.
So
And Ortolan is doing this because his guild is, for some reason, has some transactional relationship with, or the monastery has some transactional relationship, whoever's posted this notice, and he knows he's somehow responsible for doing what it says.
yeah, usually whenever your fellow clansmen would receive intel and information, because I don't know, I'm not going to be judged. That's not really what I meant, but you get it. You understand.
You can't use that word.
You have no right. But yeah, so you know that people receive missions all the time in your sect. So it's like it's not unheard of for people to disappear without much advanced warning. So you just figured it was only a matter of time before you got selected for a mission.
Okay, good stuff. Let's fast forward to Ordy's going to the blimp.
Okay, so you're taken off to the blimp. Okay, so you get to the bottom of the bottom of the clock tower, and you can notice that there's several guards at the bottom, kind of like taking. You can kind of see they're taking in the sights. They're looking around. They're enjoying work. Some of them are sipping from water skins. It seems pretty chill.
Proceed.
Okay. As you proceed forward, one of the guards says, "Excuse me, sir. What business do you have here? I mean, we are having fun here, but there still is a duty to uphold." And he holds out his hand, looking for some kind of paperwork on reason why you'd be entering the town or the clock tower.
All right. Well, Ortolan will look up with his pupils, but not his neck, so like all monk-like and shit. What exactly are you asking me for?
Says, "Papers, please. What business does anyone have up there?" And he points up towards the top.
What papers?
"Well, in order to enter here, you require the papers received from one of the sects." And he kind of leans over and pulls out kind of like a parchment out of his pocket, and he starts looking through different lines of the texts. And he flips the paper forward, and he says, you can see a picture of a seal, and it's made of just kind of like the old school seals where it's all candle wax. You can kind of see it dripping along the sides. And he says, "As long as you have one of these papers, you may pass."
And I know that the paper I'm holding is what he wants now.
You
Right.
do not know that.
What does the paper he's showing me match the one I have? Does it look like that's what he what
Nope. No, it looks completely different.
Well, okay. He turns around, immediately walks away, starts heading back to the monastery so he can summon the messenger, the monastery's messenger, who is the only person in the monastery who is not senior to him. And he's going to send the messenger back to the person who sent the scroll on the board, basically being like, "Why did you waste my fucking time? Where's my goddamn paperwork?"
Okay, so a couple hours pass by, and you receive another knock on your door.
Of my monastery chambers?
Yeah,
Okay, there are no doors, but let's say they knock on the wall.
on the wall.
All right, tick 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 on the stone. All right, yes.
Okay, and you are presented with it's basically one of your monks that are with you. You can kind of see him shuffle in. He says, "Ortoland, this just came. Quickly, quickly." And he hands it off to you.
Holy shit. Brigand Broffer, why are you so out of breath?
"I had to run. Something isn't right. I don't know. I don't understand." And he just kind of opens up the piece of paper towards you and hands it forward, and you can kind of see it's a duplicate copy of the letter that you received before. But down on the bottom of it, you can kind of see, you look down to see if there's any differences in it, and you can see that Jaladri's name is now crossed out, and there's another picture there.
That's the only difference?
That's the only difference.
Well,
Now, I need
Fuck
you
is
to
this?
make a knowledge history check.
gonna do it. It's a straight up intelligence because I have no skill points or modifier.
Okay, I gotta scroll down and see what you got. So 7. So, something in the back of your head is telling you that you've seen something like this before. In your previous dealings with the factions, you can tell that it's very secretive whenever they pass messages back and forth. And usually if they send you a duplicate copies, it means that something is awry and they don't want one of the other factions to know about it. I need you to make a knowledge religion check. Okay. For your knowledge of your religions and the surrounding religions as well, you can kind of notice that this is something that's been passed on for many, many years. And it's a way of keeping information private, but it's also hiding it in vernacular. So you kind of look towards where you see Jaladri's name, and you can kind of see that whenever the name itself is actually scratched out, there's only 2 or 3 letters that are left over that aren't scratched out in his name. And you kind of recognize that to be a cipher. I need you to make a straight intelligence check.
All right, I'm gonna go over to the cupboard, open it, and start looking for my vernacular. Sorry. You gotta throw it in somewhere. 1 out of 6 ain't bad.
Okay, so whenever you're thinking back on it, and you can remember that some ordained priests would transfer messages back and forth with cipher codes, and you're able to discern that the person that you're going to meet would have the seal that you're looking for.
The person that I'm going to meet,
Yeah, the group
like,
of people.
but I can't meet them without the seal.
No, they're in an inn in the industrial district.
I thought they were supposed to meet them at the blimp.
No, you're supposed to gather your party before venturing forth.
Okay, I go to the inn.
Okay. I'm going to load up and...
Did you honestly just say that?
Yeah, I did.
I've just been trying to follow the instructions on the sheet.
Yeah, fucked up.
All right, where is it? All right, so you arrive at the Townsend Bar. All right, so Caleb, I need to know how to transfer people's icons onto the map. Can I just grab their character token and drop it on, or do I have to put it into the combat tracker?
Fill the combat tracker first. It'll be easier on you.
Okay.
It's a dungeon painter map. And a pretty nice one.
All right. As you enter, you can kind of hear the chattering of all of the different barmen and patrons in the area. And as you look around the room, you can actually see everybody that was on the piece of parchment.
Oh, well. How convenient.
All right. How do I put your guys'
What
character
a,
icons onto the map?
How serendipitous that I
Drag
play a
'em from the
character with
combat
low
tracker.
intelligence.
Bam. Bam. Bam.
I go to sit in
Bam.
the chair on the far right to find that the chair is like the size of my foot, and I crush the chair. And I keep moving on to the
All right.
next
Oh, what do I
chair
do?
and crushing each chair in sequence until the DM makes my token smaller. No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm sorry, I'm giddy from lack of sleep, so I might get a little bit silly here.
No, that's all right. So yeah, when you guys decide to move within combat, I can allow you to move or just say no. But you guys are just sitting at separate tables. All right, so Kote, as you enter and you see everybody, you notice it's kind of like a little party time and everybody's celebrating.
I'm gonna walk immediately up to the turtle, drop the contract down in front of him. Actually, no, I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna order 2 mugfuls of Benedictine wine produced by my monastery. Then I'm gonna bring it over. I'm gonna smash the 2 mugs down, drop the contract in front of the turtle, and give someone else a chance to do some fucking role playing. I'm the only one who's gotten to talk.
How do you move your token around?
You got to drag it. You got to drag it. Yeah, drag it. Yeah.
All right, so
drag it, yeah.
So the girl serves you at the bar.
Stellar. I will pay her with my tiny coin purse, which is the only thing on my body that is worth any money at all.
All right, so Brian, you're sitting at your table. Or sorry, Jaladri.
Actually, hang on. Let me do one more. Let me say one more thing. Why don't we say that I just don't have money because I, as a monk, don't have money, and this bar has a relationship with the monastery where they sling our wine, and we the monks don't pay for drinks. It's like all done. It's like on a tap system or whatever. Like
Let's say that she reaches
monastery will
behind the
deliver
bar
the
and she pulls
supplies.
out this special bottle of wine and she pours a glass or two for you and sets it in front of you. And as you can see on the side of the bottle, it's actually a wine that is from your monastery.
Yeah. Like I'm asking for my own wine. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play like a vow of poverty style almost.
Oh, okay,
So
that's fair.
I don't even have money. She just gives me the wine.
All right. So, Brian, as you're sitting on the table, you're just munching down on your food. You find it very odd that you had a letter that summoned you to this location. You got the same information as Ortolan got as well, and you're just kind of curious on how he would be able to single you out right away. And you kind of you're like, what?
He should see his own face on the contract if he looks close enough.
Yeah, but their faces wouldn't be on it if the letter was designed to them. They're all custom-made messages to each of you.
But if I showed him my letter, his face would be on my letter.
Yes.
So that's what I did. I sat down with the drinks, and I just wordlessly put my letter in front of him and pointed to his face on it.
Gotcha. All right. You really want to go there, Jack? All right. Cool.
Oh no, I'm just trying to figure out how it works. That's all.
I gotta authorize your movement.
You approve it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, so yeah, a big fucking rabbit shows up right next to you, Brian.
A rabbit and a turtle walk into a bar.
They ask if they want to race.
Actually,
Right, that's
Are
pushing hairs
you
into
looking
the
for a
table.
race? Are you looking for a race? And then I'm gonna roll perception to see if I notice that he's like pointing at something important.
So you do notice that he is holding a letter that's similar to yours, but you notice the difference between the two letters that he's handing out to you is that your face is actually on his, but you see a lot of scribbles over your side of the page. I want you to roll an intelligence check for me. Okay, so you...
+2.
Oh, cool. You can actually just, if you go to your character sheet and just take it right off intelligence, it'll automatically modify it for you.
Oh, okay, like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Very nice.
Very
That's
good.
how that works.
Awesome. So you can tell that you both have received the same invitation from the same faction. So you can kind of tell that this was the man that you were supposed to meet up with.
Okay. So, yeah, first thing I'll do is I'll give you my traditional greeting. I will close my hands and bow. And say, welcome. You must be the man I'm supposed to meet. Or one of. Well.
Wait, you know who I am, I see. Well.
I'm going to take out my contract and show him, like, his picture.
Very good. You see a very handsome Ortholind on the screen there, Kote. Very nice. Very handsome and stoic. And you notice it to be your own picture.
Well, I suppose I'm not the master of this fiasco as I thought. Good. So, shall I assume that you don't know anyone else on this document either? Because I don't.
I don't think so. I know they're here, but I haven't introduced myself yet.
Well. Oh, right, because I'm supposed to know that too. Well, suppose we may as well get on with it then.
Alright, I'm gonna stand up and in a very loud voice, just announce the names and be like, would you please all come here?
See Ortolan cringe a bit at the yelling.
Very good. So, who are you approaching again, sorry?
Oh, I'm just standing up and yelling it.
Yelling... Sorry, my my headset cut out on me there for a second.
Oh, I'm just gonna name, say their first names and be like, would you "Oh, guys, please come here."
All of
And I'm gonna
it's
point at the waitress and hold out. I don't even know how many fingers Joel has.
Alcoholic. Is there an alcoholic here?
I'm gonna hold up all of my fingers and say bottles.
very good. So the bartender just bows her head. She knows what her job is. She comes around the side. She brings out a tray of just a random assortment of alcohol. Kota, you can notice that she's actually pouring a couple of more glasses of the wine that she took out of the bottle as well and placing it on. And starts to walk over to the table and puts it down in front of you. And then goes back. All right, so Westra, you actually hear this random-ass turtle fucking screaming out your name. You do recognize the person to be the person that was on the letter that you received.
Yep. I am sitting basically right next to them right now, so I'm just gonna kind of turn my chair over to face them. Just look kind of annoyed, but kind of raise my hand. Hey, it's me.
We're going on an adventure.
I caught
What?
just the end of that.
Yeah, you cut out there for a second, Brian.
Shit, sorry.
That's all right. No worries.
I hold out one of the drinks and I say, "Please join us." So apparently we're going on an adventure.
It's the voice.
I think it is the voice.
I can't.
The character voice.
I can't wait for you to watch the replay and hear what just came out of your mouth.
The turtle's a robot.
Oh, yeah.
Kill him.
That was awesome. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, free drinks. Let's go.
All right, so you can see the turtle just kind of. You always expected the turtle people to be a little slow in stature. You never usually see them, Westra, like moving too quickly, but this one seems to be spry and uppity and very friendly.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like the elephant in the room here is the tortoise and the hare dynamic, and we should just get it out of the way right now.
Yeah.
Nope, it's going to be an ongoing thing. Shut up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, they
at
had a
the
race
notion of
before the
free
end of it.
drinks, that kind of catches my attention a bit there, and I'm gonna walk over there and help myself. Have a seat.
Very good.
Just gonna look at the two of them. So, which one of you won the race?
Yay!
We haven't decided yet.
The master race?
Of course you would.
Like, what kind? Him and all his clansmen.
Serious.
All right, just off to the left, you can see the bartender slowly moving out, and she disappears into the back room.
And she's gone.
All right, so down on the table, as the three of you set down your letters, you can notice that the correlation between the three, you recognize that it is from the faction, and that you realize that you're all here to meet each other. As you guys look around and wait, and kind of like having sips on your drinks, you can see around the room that the air in the room has changed a little bit. You can kind of see that the lights have dimmed a little bit, and then the bartender comes back out from behind the door and steps up onto the stage and begins to sing a tune.
Performance time.
Yeah. So as she looks like she's setting up, you can see actually another waitress come from behind the door, and you can see her carrying a big plate of food as she walks down one of the aisles. She takes a quick staunt and ventures down and sets it on the table of the man down at the bottom of the room. Steve, you're looking around, you can hear a bunch of squawking going on behind you about people that are looking for a mission, but you look down and the meal that you ordered is wrong. It's not what you ordered.
Nice.
Excuse me, miss. This is not my meal.
She looks down and she's like, "You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. You're going to take what you get." That's right. I said it out loud. And you told us that she is like...
that my drink is in and just crumple it in my Goliath hand and be like, "Ma'am, this is not my food."
You can see her just starting to slowly come back to her senses, but you can see that she's obviously had the shittiest day of her life. You can see on the back of her head, you can kind of see where once her hair was like really well kept and real demeaned, like it turns out like she's starting to get frizzles on the back of her head from the heat of the stoves in the back room.
Like, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that there might be another patron who's a little more upset than I am about this.
And she just goes, "I'm sorry. I'll do better." And she's like respectfully excuses herself and then enters into the back room again.
Can I hear that?
I'm going to
Everybody can hear it
left.
happening. Like kind of like that. You kind of know when you take the needle off the vinyl, like everybody kind of heard the bartender lose their shit.
I'm gonna pick up another drink and walk over to Steve.
There you go.
Hey, Steve, why don't you come join us for a drink while you wait for your food?
I'm going to look up at him.
And it's gonna take you by surprise, Steve, just so you know, like you haven't had much dealings with the turtle folk before. Usually the turtle folk kind of stick to like the outskirts of town, where you're more along the lines of living in the industrial district with kind of like all the fighters and the guards and all that kind of stuff. That's where your family is from in the city. So you're not used to seeing the turtles. So I want you to make a what would be if you're scared and you wanted to roll to not be scared? What would
Wisdom.
Will? Yeah, all right. So I want you to do a wisdom save there, Honky.
I'm going to look up at him, and my token changes because now somebody sees my face.
What the fuck?
I have had that queued for fucking ever, okay?
The fuck?
That's fucking great.
What am I looking at?
Alright, wisdom save.
Oh, you're Casey Jones.
It's a 17.
Okay, so it doesn't startle you, and you just kind of go, oh, okay. Very good. So, Steve, also you notice that he very much matches the description of the person on your letter. And then you just start to see the lights are starting to dim and focus on the singer, and she enters this like lovely ballad, a song of a king that lost his queen and his journey to be able to find her again in the afterlife. And you can all see all of the patrons start to clap and then just go back to their drinks as the song starts.
I shared the song.
Yeah! Awesome. Very good. On the left-hand side of the room, we see a little fairy. Well, a medium-sized fairy. Axel, you're very taken in by the music. You really enjoy it. And you're just kind of like sitting off to your own. And over to the other side of the room, you can notice that there was an incident at the other end of the room. And you can see that the bartender the second bartender storms back, and you can kind of hear pots and pans banging. You can hear a male voice basically being like, "You got to do better. You can't do this to me again. This is a busy night. This is an important night for me. You can't do this." And then the sound of the crowd overtakes it, and it kind of goes into a muffled background.
All right. The Axel stands up, and there's a slight jangle of spurs off his tiny cowboy boots as he slowly strides into the back of the kitchen.
So you're heading over to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay, and so as you approach the door, you notice that it's kind of like a half saloon door. So it's kind of like you push on it, it would open that way. If you pulled on it, it would come back at you. You can't really see into the room, but as you walk up to, you can sort of hear more stationary and more vibrant voices.
All right. I'm gonna push the saloon style doors open slowly.
Okay.
Stride in, spurs jangling.
Okay, just give me a second. I want to see if I can copy a token. No, I can't.
I just want to know how big their spurs are.
They're tiny.
you ting, ting. You look over, there's a guy wearing two. They're not even spurs, they're the fucking, like, you know, the things that they use to punch holes in your belt?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just got a set of those on the back of your fucking boots.
Okay. So as you walk in and open the saloon doors, you can see that there is another couple of doors that offset this room that go into different parts. There's a window just off to your right behind a seat and a stool right next to one of the stoves, and you can see out the window that there's a human male tending to the fire cooking meat outside. And you just walk in, and the woman standing slaving over the hot stove, you can't see her face, but you see the gentle shoulder shrugs and the constant sorrow of this being, and you can tell that she's crying.
Well, hey there, little lady.
She kind of gets startled and looks back, and she says, "What do you want?"
I heard there was a ruckus back here. Came to investigate.
You can kind of see the shock of her face that anybody would enter in, considering it's usually an employee's area. But you can see her quickly try to hide the fact that she's crying by wiping a tear out of her eye and turning back around to face the stove again. I can't stop my duties. I must continue, please. And she looks over towards the door. Outside the window, you can see the male cooking different various meat products on top of a large bonfire. He starts to chop wood, and you can see that he seems to be very angry as he chops wood, as he's almost taking out his frustrations on chopping wood.
Can I get a sense of if he's what? I mean, I think I got a pretty good idea of what's going on here, but
yeah,
should I roll something?
I want you to do an insight check for me, s'il vous plaît. 12. So as you're looking around the room and you're noticing all the little knickknacks for preparing food and the warm quaff of the fire that seems to be extending itself onto the floor in a shadow, just the bright lights of the actual stove itself, you kind of hear her whimper a little bit, and you take the sense that she really, not only does she really not want to be here, but she's being held here against her will.
No, that's not good at all.
Make a perception check for me, s'il vous plaît. On her left arm, you see the insignia of the sect of Sarl, which are the scholars and the adventurers and the spies. So you can see that insignia on her left hand side. You also see a symbol of her house on her other side, and it's a tree with a mushroom growing beneath it, and there's it almost looks like somebody took a knife to it and crossed it out on her.
Do I have any idea what that would
knowledge be? History check, please.
Oh, that'd be great.
Six. So you do recall that with your dealings with this city and town, you notice that some of them can actually be quite like zealotry is a big thing here in regards to all of its citizens. If you don't belong to one of the cult, you're cast aside, and you can tell from her emblem that she is from a family that lives on the lower levels of the city, kind of impoverished almost. And when she looks over to the right to look for the human again out the window, and he's still off doing his own thing, she goes, I just have to complete my mission. That's all. Please leave before I'm discovered. And she kind of looks back towards you, and you can actually start to see not only tears coming from her face, but sweat dripping from her forehead.
Mission. Cook the food.
What's that?
Mission. What do you speak about, lady?
She looks down and she looks forward. She's like, she looks towards left and right to see if there's anybody else in the room, and she just leans forward and says, "My mission My mission. And she extends her hand and she says, please, you must go. And she opens up the palm of her hand and you can see a leather coin bag in her hand and she's handing it to you.
All right, I want to know if I think she's full of fucking shit or I think she's actually in trouble here.
Okay, insight,
That's
please.
what Axel's trying to figure out, or if she's got a handle on the situation.
You believe every single word she says.
Sorry to bother you, miss. He'll tip his hat and leave.
Very good. She redacts her hand and the thing the package she puts it back into her dress. And as you exit, you come back out into the bar. So, Ortoland, you also start to remember through the course of the night's events, you look over and you can see the turtle that seems to be talking to the big fucking Olaf-looking motherfucker in the corner. Just massive. Looks like he could chew bricks and spit fire. Like, he's just ready to go. You also notice that you look down and in your hands is still the piece of paper that you were showing the turtle. And you look over the characteristics of each of your party members, including Steve himself. And you read through his biography and you notice that there is druidic magic in his background. So the other two come back to the table.
Gang's almost all here.
I guess we're all here now.
All right, there we go.
Axel flaps his little fairy wings and flies across the room.
Nice.
Welcome back.
All right. So realizing that I have now crushed somebody else's property, I'm going to try to do my best with my Goliath hands to uncrumple the cup. Because now I feel bad.
There you go.
Awesome. You look over, as you're uncrumpling the glass, it's starting to pop kind of like a tin roof would if it got damaged. Just like bang, bang, bang. You look over, Westra. Now, you notice that everybody seems to be accounted for on your list. And each one has been signed by the same person. You notice.
Been signed?
Yeah. And her name
Like,
is...
Yeah,
like the actual signature at the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Of each of the different ones. And it is... I haven't made the picture yet, but it's going to be the chick that's on the picture of the Sarl in the characters aid. Okay. So that's going to be her. I'm going to pop it out here. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
Is that the bottom one?
No, top one.
Top one, yeah.
Backstory aid.
The Sally?
Yeah. Bump. It's going to be the chick on the top.
I just closed that. Open that back up for me. I was trying to close something else.
I tried to do it.
Oh my god. I drank so much coffee, my hands are just jittering. Alright, bam. There you go. So that's her up at the top, and her name is Izrai. Ezeri.
Ezrai or Ezrai?
It could be pronounced Ezrai or Ezri. Like either we'll say it's Ezri for now.
Alright.
And it's Ezri. And it's just signed Ezri. Alright, perfect. Lowercase. And I made a note of it just for later.
Well, hell.
Bam.
Y'all know what this is all about?
There we go.
No.
was hoping I wouldn't have to see your sorry mug again, Steve.
Steve, I need you to roll an intelligence check.
Okay. Steve needs the bar map pushed again.
The bar map? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on
Intelligence.
it. Intelligence, please.
7.
Through the course of your dealings, you know that in your ranger background, that hunters are very much desired in the city for meat and other food products that exist outside the city. But you also know that contracts be given out from time to certain faction groups. Your group is comprised mostly of your race. Like 10 of the ranger races tend to stick together. But you look over and you notice that Axel is actually a member of an opposing ranger faction. So they're almost like your rivals.
We have the same house?
No, you're not of the same house, but you are both rangers. And
I thought he was House Tarl too.
He's what?
I thought he was part of House Tarl too.
Yeah, he can be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they send people out to do diplomatic wars and aspects and gathering relics, but the city still needs to eat.
Okay, so I know who he is.
Yeah, well, you don't know who he is personally, but you know of the fairy faction. Thank you.
Hey, I thought we talked about it. There's no.
I'm joking. I'm picking on you.
I'm going to pull a piece of one of my arrow shafts out and start whittling a chair for my little friend.
About that small.
That's the point. That's the condescending point.
2.5 feet tall.
Yeah, well, I mean, my arrows are like 4.5 feet long.
Just a peg that goes up my butt.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you to go get fucked. You're part of a different faction. Your chair just seems to be phallical shaped.
Damn.
So there you go. So you guys are all sitting around, basically feasting. Steve is still waiting for his meal, and Axel joins up, and yeah, so there you are. So I have one second. I have one quick question. Yeah. So what is everybody's time frame for here on? Because I can
not much.
Not much.
A beer.
Okay, very good.
So
all right, so I was just double checking because I was going to offer a $5, but if people got to go soon, then fuck that.
Yeah, push through.
Okay, so yeah, you're all sitting around at the bar. So I would say probably about 3 hours has passed of the 12-hour wait before the Zeppelin leaves.
Okay. So we read over this note. Does it give us exact, like, anything besides the list of people that we were supposed to meet before we go to the Zeppelin?
I need you to roll a no. It just basically said no, it actually doesn't. No. I'm sorry.
It just
said, go meet these people, then go to the Zeppelin, I guess. It didn't tell us what we're actually expected.
Yeah, and it's signed by the leader of that faction.
Okay. Copy.
So they grouped us up, had us meet up, but they're not telling us what they want us to do yet.
I'm going to stand up and go to the saloon door and take the cup back that I've semi put back together and ask for my food to go.
Okay, so as you approach the bar, you can actually see that the waitress has finished your food, and she steps out, and you can kind of see her walking towards the bar. The singer, the original bartender, has actually finished her song and has returned to the backside of the bar. And as she walks by, she looks at you and gives you a kind of like a very slight come here nod, and she walks over to the table of adventurers.
Okay, so I'm going to follow back over to the table of adventurers.
Pretty much. And she comes up and she says, apologies for earlier. You can kind of, cause she kind of has a quick glance to Axel. And Axel, you notice she's very uncomfortable right now. And she basically sets the food down. And then
Do I see her uncomfortability?
yes, like it's apparent, like she's kind of like even like shaking a little bit.
Cave, I'm going to take the food from her, thank her graciously, tip her 2 gold. I don't know how much gold I have at the moment, so yeah, tip her 2 gold, and go about my. I'm literally just going to like start scarfing this down and not say a word to anybody.
Awesome. So she
I'm just going
kind
to like push my little mask up so you guys still can't see much.
All right.
Just like scarfing food.
I need the entire group to make perception checks.
All right.
So, for anybody who hasn't rolled a check yet, you just grab the plus numbers out from the actual check itself.
Colorful.
We got a 20, an 18, a 5, a 9, and a 15.
So, okay, so what happens is she starts to walk away, and she gets to about the bar level. Scrog, oops. Shit. Steve. Sorry, force of habit. Steve, you notice that one of the bowls that was set down, you can kind of see like it's a large assortment. It's almost like a platter of just different shit. And down in between one of the bowls, you can actually see something being concealed.
I'm going to reach down, grab it, and keep it concealed.
So as you go to pocket it, you take a look off to the left, and you can actually see the woman disappear into the back room again.
Okay. I want to look around to see if anybody's watching me.
Perception check, please.
$17.
Can you roll me an investigation?
I can, but I don't want to. I'll take a 16.
Thank you. So, as you're looking across the room, you can see a couple, like, there's a large amount of people in here, like, all the seats are filled up, and they're, like, really happy about the musical performance, but you can actually see a couple of people that weren't really into the music that seemed to be focused elsewhere.
Are they focused on me?
No.
Okay. I'm going to pull whatever this was out of concealment and investigate it.
Just as you go to take it out of your pocket, the door slams open, and all you hear is a scream. And the lady that was in the back just fucking darts out full fucking speed towards the front door. And I'm talking jumping over tables, slamming through shit, 100% Mach 5 right out that door. And all you see is the person that was in the back come through the kitchen, stands at the kitchen door and says, "Thief! Thief! Gods!" And you see her disappear out the door.
Watching this now, knowing that everyone is paying attention to that commotion, I am definitely going to investigate what I have in my hands.
You know, you open it up, and it's like a small little coin purse. And as you open it up, and you put your finger in, and you stretch open the pouch, you can see it's a mold of an insignia. A mold of an insignia. And I need you to make a religion check. Okay, so you.
For some reason, I think Steve and Scrog believe the same religion.
So on top of the insignia, you notice that it's a chess piece. The chess piece flows in from the center of the circle and goes out towards the radius, and you can kind of see that you recognize it to be full plate, and all you see is a red rose on top of where the heart would be of the chess piece. And you can see a lightning bolt on the other side. And you know this to be the symbol of...
the one that I'm looking for?
Of the one you're looking for, yeah.
Copy. I'm going to nonchalantly tie that back up and put it in my pouch without telling anybody about it.
Very good.
And continue eating my food.
Okay, Mr. Ortoland, I need you to make a perception check. Okay, so out of the diagonal corner of your eye, down here, there's a window. Right where this guy is.
Steve's
Yeah.
Through the window, as you're looking out, you can see the lady running into the square area. You notice 5 guards show up in all points around her, and they skewer her to death.
Oh, Jesus. That took a fucking turn.
Well,
Do you?
the young lady has been skewered to death.
You announced this to the group.
I announced this to the group.
I'm
What?
going to abruptly stand up from the table and go outside to investigate.
Yeah, I'm going to slam my whiskey and follow Steve.
Do guards make a habit of skewering people accused of thievery on sight in this town? We must know
Roll
this.
a knowledge history check.
This is where you're going to see a different side of HK.
So, from your knowledge, you know that acts like these only happen whenever somebody has desecrated, betrayed, or ignored faith in their sect. So this is kind of like a public execution of people that they believe that are going against the will of the 3 factions.
So would the guards
Any
be
theft?
of her faction then? Or would they be... Is it any faction that'll carry out the wrath quickly? Or...
Can you make a knowledge, or can you make a perception check, s'il vous plaît? Because now all of you are drawn to the window heading outside.
I'll take that 21.
Okay, everybody roll one. Everybody roll one. So I got...
Well, we usually did the 2, and I was +5 on perception.
Okay, so...
Me and Odoron know a lot.
Jalari, you... How do I say this? You recognize the full plate that they are wearing, but you don't recognize the symbols that are atop the chest piece. So when you look out, all you see is that they're all donned in gold-like armor, and you can see a faction symbol on their chest piece, and you know that to be the Sarl. Now, Ortolan, you also notice that on the opposite side, where you think that lightning bolt would be, is actually a picture of a closed fist.
Okay.
Now, I need you to make a knowledge religion check. Okay, so what you end up taking in is that you recognize it. You don't know if it has any correlation to your stock, like your religion, but you do know that that fist represents one of the military factions that usually oppose your faction in open court.
Okay. I'm not gonna speak this aloud, but I'll note it.
Very good. Steve, you're going to notice that the first marking upon their chest is actually the picture of a bow. And now I need you to make a knowledge nature check. First one of the game.
Is that an intelligence?
No, it's like it's in your skills.
Right, yeah, but you said knowledge, and mine's under intelligence. So would I put it under wisdom for knowledge? For the stat?
It should automatically be on your character sheet, shouldn't it?
It is, but
Yeah,
it's under
there's one
intelligence.
under skills.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. He's saying it's...
Yes,
Nate.
I understand this, but he said make a knowledge nature check. Is it knowledge under the classification of wisdom?
I think it'd be whatever.
That's what he wants you to do. The thing I just did.
I know what he wants me to do. I'm asking the question of before you get to the pluses over there, there is the stat, and it says INTWISCHA STRDEX, whatever it says right there. He said to make it a knowledge nature check. I'm asking him, does he want me to make that as a knowledge wisdom?
No,
or a
whatever
knowledge
originally
intelligence?
was.
Okay. That's a 3.
Okay, so you do recognize the bow The bow is actually, you can tell that this soldier who seems to be running the show outside is actually another ranger faction. But
Opposed or factioned with?
you don't. You can tell that this is under direct command of the Tali. Is it the Tali? Hold on, let me get that picture back out. I keep
Well, he's
closing it
not-
when I shouldn't be. Hold on.
That's who I'm part of, but you said these guys are wearing the symbol of Kote's people.
Yeah. So you can see, like, yeah, it's a mixture of all. So you can kind of see, you recognize the bow to
it's
be a part of.
commemorated guard.
Yeah. So on this one in particular, that's taking control. You see the picture of the bow, which is the representation of the rangers that follow the Sali, the ones that are all about the body.
Right, life and death. Got it. Okay. I'm going to come out and question the authority of why they struck death upon this woman instantaneously.
Okay, let me get the Townsend bar back up here. Bam. Okay, as you exit, you can kind of see that as you all go outside, you can kind of see that, like, all the civilians in the surrounding area are kind of gathering to see what the commotion was.
Like we are.
Yeah. So you can see, and it's a sea of people. So I want everybody to, well, actually, this is common knowledge. There hasn't been this kind of punishment in over 100 years in this town. So everybody is kind of surprised that they were able to witness it. You can see some of them are quite happy. You can see a couple of them applauding, saying, "Down with the heretics, down with the heretics." And as you all... Sorry, go ahead.
We'll step into the group and, with a booming voice, "Death is nothing," to applaud.
Okay, so you're kind of like saying this almost on deaf ears because the crowd is kind of like shoulder to shoulder as you enter in, and you can hear them all screaming different things, like over, like you hear like a lot of devout faith. You can you sense a lot. There's a lot of businessmen in the area who are angry that this had to happen in front of their shops. Like, it's just a whole sporadic, like, it's almost civil unrest. And as you make your way to the center of the group, like, Steve, you know you're actually pretty tall, so you kind of stand out when you're walking through a crowd of people. And as you approach, all you hear is the main dude that's up in front of everybody says, "Silence!" And then you hear the entire crowd go quiet. "If you are a heretic and you steal from us, the price is death. Glory for the Saul." And then you just hear all of the other guards have spears, and you hear them clamp them down, and they start beating off the floor. Get it out of the way. Banging it off the floor, and they're all in tandem, and they're doing a specific beat, which is 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1. And as he takes a step towards the crowd, it says, "Curfew enabled for the remainder of the day. Return to your houses. Anybody caught out after dark will be killed on sight." And you see him start to take a step away, and you can kind of see the guard starting to deal with the mangled body and carrying her off. As they start to carry off, the captain still stands there, and he's awaiting transportation.
Do I know him personally?
No, you have not seen this gentleman before. So the Sarl...
He says that?
What's that?
As he says the curfew in effect immediately, I'm gonna like take the remaining bottles from like my belt that I tucked in there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna hide in my shell.
You gain a +4 AC. All right.
And I'm going here and getting day drunk.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right.
So here's what's going to happen. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave it there because people are going to have to fuck off soon.
Okay.
But what I want
Okay.
you guys to do is to develop your backstories a little more. And now that you know how kind of the world works, feel free
All right.
on writing me something. And if you want to put it into random fuckery, that way, or character bios, I can read it. And then that'll give me the ability to maybe drop some ideas for some later content.
Cool.
All right. Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caleb, how much you gonna pay me to come down there and load that pipe?
Load what
That's not
pipe?
like
All right, guys. So I'm
Well,
going to
move
shut
that
down the
pipe around
stream.
there.
Thank you guys for watching. If you guys are watching this on YouTube after the fact, please give it a like and a thumbs up. And subscribe. If you want to see our main campaign, it's called the Caspian
that's
Sea.
not
We
pipe,
got a
it's a
bunch
pump.
of stuff at the bottom of the page, including the Caspian Sea cast and season 1, episode 1, all the way up to season 2, episode 30. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace out. Yeah. Good start.
Yeah.